Hello, hello mga kababayan, mga kagilas, mga ka-Haydarians. Ayan, ayan, ayan. Grabe naman, grabe naman, grabe naman. Alam niyo naman, hindi tayo nag-basketball analysis usually, but this one was intense, no? Hanggang third quarter talaga, literally, parang football po yung nangyari. Alam mo yung parang ka ng football na 1-1, 0-0, yung sobrang dikit talaga yung laban, no? Sobrang dikit ng laban until the last 2 minutes na biglang nag-pull away talaga ng Dominican Republic. Of course, unang-una gusto natin sabihin na we're very happy na we kept this fight very, very close. Considering na itong Dominican Republic, we'll discuss that very shortly, has three NBA players. At least two of them were operational today. Si Duarte yata was, hindi Duterte, akala ko. Andun sa audience yata. And this is a team na tinalo ang Argentina, no, which is like ranked top 4, top 5 in the world, no, not long ago. So Dominican Republic was not just any opponent. This was never supposed to be a easy fight. But I think we all had good hopes na we can keep the fight close. And actually, by early third quarter, kung makita nyo, we were able to take the lead, no? Once we were entering the 50s and 60s digit, no? So, how should I put it? Una-una, I think fantastic yung performance ng marami sa ating mga players. I really love yung mga three-point shoots ni Ramos. He did fantastic. Some of his 3 points were really difficult, and I didn't think we stood a chance. But those kept us in the game, and at some point, actually, we were leading. But let's be honest, Clarkson, really, Jordan Clarkson did a fantastic job. Grabe yung mga ginagawa niya. I mean, there was one offensive foul na sa fourth quarter na I found that was weird. But overall, grabe. I mean, ang dami niya, parang second, third, fourth quarter, you could see some very difficult moves na pull off ni Jordan Clarkson. So definitely is a huge plus for the Philippines. And there were a lot of times whereby you're worried na, nako, sana hindi siya ma-injure or hindi siya, like, you're wondering what will happen kung wala si Jordan Clarkson dun sa field, no? So it makes you very nervous about the situation. But he kept on keeping it close. He kept on doing fantastic. Ang galing ng mga ginawa niya, grabe, di ba? I mean, again, I'm more of a football fan, as you can clearly see, but I can appreciate athleticism. I can appreciate really special plays, and at some points you could see really this was a battle of NBA players as much as it was a battle of between two Latino countries, no, Dominican Republic. There were a lot also Dominicanos. I noticed they were also in the stadium. And speaking of stadium, mga kay-Darian, we were able to break yung record, no? So almost 40,000 nag-attend. I think this was the highest ever recorded in any FIBA World Cup. So boom! Talaga makikita nyo. Mahal na mahal ang mga Pilipino ang mga ganitong laro. I'm not sure, I mean, there were a lot of Dominicanos in the crowd, but I doubt those Dominicanos were the one who pushed the numbers to almost 40,000. So this record really shows how the Filipino people are first and foremost basketball fans. And at the same time, this is where, things get tricky, because as great as Clarkson was and as amazing as I was really impressed by GILAS Filipinas. I think it was one of the best performances ever I've seen. I've been trying to follow up yung team natin, especially yung last time na nag-silver medal tayo sa Asian Games dito sa Pilipinas. Was it 2014? Something like that, right? 2014, 2015. So, I've been watching this team and it's an evolution. I've, watching Chot Reyes over time. This was a good performance. Almost a great performance. And Jordan Clarkson was amazing. Except, no matter how amazing he was up against a team that had not one, not two, but three NBA players. I think Duarte was not in the game. I saw him in the audience at some point. But they had like amazing NBA players, not just any NBA players, but my goodness, I mean, let's just look at this, no? So this is a team that we were up against that has three NBA players, including NBA players. Now, one of them, my goodness, si Karl Anthony Towns, 7-footer, who was number 1 pick overall dun sa NBA draft ng 2015 and Rookie of the Year 2015-2016 season. And this is the scary part. Giant 7-footer guy, amazing dexterity, but as if that's not enough, it's not enough na my strength. It's not enough na my dexterity. It's not enough na bata-bata pa, 27 years old lang. This is a person who won the 2021-2022 three-point contest. So you have a 7-footer guy who can also do 3 points and 3-time All-Stars dito selection sa NBA. So like, wow. And guess what? He was not the only NBA players among the Dominicans. You know, they have, so, and not the only center also. You had Boston Celtics center Al Horford, sorry. And not to mention, of course, Kings guard Chris Duarte that we mentioned a while ago. Although I don't think Duarte was in game. Speaking of also NBA players or potentially NBA players, parang si Soto wasn't. I saw him also on the bench, so I don't know what's going on there. I hope it's not a serious injury, anything like that. So let me just give a few overall take on this. So first of all, the fact that we kept this very close just shows GILAS is not a joke, right? That this is a team that can go far. Now, having said that, no, I mean, obviously, many advantages, including home court advantage, I said, but this was a solid team. Hindi ito chamba-chamba lang. Yes, may mga pagkakulang sa defense, etc. But a couple of things. So, first of all, kung titignan mo, defense was really a big factor. I could see that there were times na ang galing ng offense ng Gilas, pero pagdating sa defense, medyo kapos, medyo kulang at parang yung energy nilalagay na lang sa offense, including with Clarkson, that I think he was really the offense guy, he was really the attack guys. Nakailang points na siya, di ba? I understand that. So there was definitely kind of an imbalance, especially third and fourth quarter. Especially towards the end of third quarter, and then yung crucial moments, yung gitna ng fourth quarter when we still had a very good chance of edging out yung mga Dominicanos, the defense was not there. Which brings me to the second point, and I think this is the thing, the offensive rebounds of Dominicanos was crazy. I mean, there were many times na you put 2-person, 3-person kay Carl Anthony. There are times that even Carl Anthony misses, someone else misses, but still they get offensive rebounds. And there you could see really the big difference. There you could really see the big difference of them not only having, multiple NBA players, but having very agile, very aggressive players. At dito makita na talaga na medyo kulang talaga tayo sa center, di ba? Now, we had nothing na pangtapat kay Carl Anthony. There were times 2-3 persons were trying to get him. So open yung iba, binibigyan doon, and nagta 3 points pa yung iba sa kanila, no? And I that was just so frustrating to watch, no? And the thing was, their bench looked very deep. So even though nagkakaroon silang rotation to bring fresh people in, and you could see, up until the last minute, grabe yung defense ng Dominicanos, no? Their defense was solid. Hirap na hirap tayo mag-points. Parang mas nahirapan tayo mag-points dun sa last minute or to kaysa yung mga first 3 quarters. I mean, if you look at it. And this brings me really to the fundamental point na parati ko sinasabi. As much as it felt like a football game na dikit, na very competitive, I mean, this is what's unfair about basketball. I mean, aminin natin, really the center made a big difference in. It's not just Carl Anthony being Carl Anthony, but it's because wala tayong anyone close to him even in terms of height. So Kai Soto was not there. And I think even if Kai Soto was there, I mean, he needs some time to mature pa and reach the same level to be competitive and can hold it together against Carl Anthony. But dito naman, yun nga yung masakit eh. We kept it very close. Dito natin nakita na ang galing ng team natin. If you look at yung match natin with Senegal, and if you look at yung match natin with Lebanon, for instance, the other day, okay talaga. And you could see, this is the best side that the Gilas can bring in. So, kaya in a way, I'm not totally surprised na we kept the fight so close, football type. But this is really what's unfair in basketball. Height really matters. And with height also comes strength, comes offensive rebounds. With that also comes the ability to compensate for lack of defense. Kung pagod ka mag-defense, doon ka na nang babawi sa offensive rebound. Yun yung unfair talaga sa basketball eh. Yun lang talaga unfair sa basketball na you could see how certain physical attributes alone immediately create some sort of... So, yes, I mean, of course, my puso, of course, my discarte, of course, my skills. I mean, Jordan Clarkson did fantastic job. Ramos, three-pointers are fantastic, but you can just keep on doing that over and over for how many times? So, and nakita natin towards the last 2 minutes of fourth quarter, just the height and physicality and people like Carl Anthony, which are doing so good, and it made it very, very difficult for us to hold it together. But I want to end on this note. For me, yes, napagod lahat. Actually, tama yung mga points ng mga ano natin, mga ka-YouTubers natin dyan. Ang worry ko dito is actually if you look at our next game, Angola ba yung next ano ba yung next game natin? Right? Our next game is supposed to be slightly easier than this one, and then the next game will be very difficult. Diba? Parang the idea was medium, a little bit easier, and then super hard. Or at least that's the shallow way of looking at it. The Dominican one, we kept it close. So hindi unreasonable yung expectation natin na we could have won. As I said, we saw what made the difference was literally last 2 minutes. That's where the difference was made. But the other thing I want to also look at it here is, my fear is, dahil sobrang dikit itong fight na to, sobrang physical, I mean, Jordan Clarkson was pushing himself really, really to the hilt. Ang fear ko naman is baka pagod na sila for the second fight. I hope that's not gonna be the case. So I hope they can, they kept enough energy sa next fight nila. Because if we win the next fight, which is not impossible considering how well we did in this match, which was very difficult against one of the best teams out there. Yes, their ranking is not that high, like 21st in the world, but they beat Argentina not long ago. So this is a team which is definitely way better even than its own ranking. Although we're not even in top 30 or 40 if I'm not mistaken, right? Medyo top 40 lang yata tayo. So, but the next match, medyo may chance tayo. I think I'm much more optimistic about this one. But that assumes we didn't give it all in this match. Kasi yun yung concern ko ngayon. So I hope we hold enough for the second match. We held enough for the second match para may chance talaga tayo sa third match. Let's look at what's gonna happen there. So, mahirap. I mean, there's meron yung talo ka na talagang walang laban and like whatever. And then meron kang ganito na there were times na ahead tayo sa third quarter, even sa fourth quarter we had a chance of staying ahead. And then now you're worried na baka napagod tayo because we kept it so close together. So you're worried now for the next game, which I think a lot of us feel theoretically we should have even better chance of edging out our opponent. Alright, on that note, thank you very much. Again, maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga sumusuporta sa atin. I usually I don't do back-to-back, but I felt, we don't do basketball analysis, but it's not like we're hosting FIBA World Cup forever. It's not that this happens all the time. And this was a very close fight. There are many moments na like, wow, kaya natin ito, and you were super proud of Philippines, and you know that kaya natin ito until the next round. And then, towards the end, nakita mo talaga ang deep ng bench ng kabila, and dun sa offensive rebounds, dun sa defense, and especially dun sa centers nila, ang laki ng agwat. So, kahit gaano galing sila Ramos, gaano kagaling sila Clarkson, that could not make up for that well-rounded comprehensive strength that the Dominicanos had. Alright, on that note, thank you very much. Maraming salamat, and God bless. Thank you very much for your kind comments. Okay, magalit tayo mga basketball fan, ha? Ano lang yan? Simpleng ano lang yan.